Oh, yes. Okay. I will do a quick insertion.
Cathy, 3, 2, 1, action. Hi, this is Nam from Easy Sunday Club, and who's the camera person today?
It's Cathy.
Yes, and today we're going to show you how we mass produce our fine art prints at home.
Mass produce sounds so bad. We make them with tender loving care, a small batch.
No, it's literally a sweatshop run by me.
Yes, you're
But
like quite a tight ship.
Just kidding. But we decided to make the decision to print our prints at home because we have an Epson Watercolor P800 printer. And we wanted to make the most of it by printing our prints at home because we have quality control and we have cost control. We can make as little number of prints as we want. We can make prints on demand, and we don't have to rely on an outsourced printing press. We reviewed that printer recently, so you can go ahead and check out that video. Because we have our own printer, then we can print at home. So I just wanted to show you our workflow in case you are deciding to make prints yourself in a bulk amount. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you the templates that we set up in Photoshop in order to print as many prints as possible at once. And then I'll show you some cool hyperlapse videos that we took of how I package the prints and get them ready to ship out for wholesale. So let's get into it. Can't wait to show you. So here I am in Photoshop, and I just want to show you an end product of what we're trying to create today. The Watercolor P800 allows you to print pieces of paper that are 22 inches in height and 17 inches in width. Because we can print 17 by 22, then we want to fit as many 8 by 10 prints as possible. So if you can see how we set things up, 2 8 by 10 prints going this way, since each one is 10 inches long, and we can fit 2 prints vertically like this, because each one's 8 inches, then 0 to 8, 8 to 16, and then you have a 1 inch of white space here. With this remaining blank space, 2-inch blank space, we decided to fill it with our business cards, which you do not have to do, but you can if you want, because we don't like to waste paper, and they are the perfect size for some business cards. So they're pretty skinny business cards, but if you can see our logo here, name of the company, a miniature version of one of Cathy's prints, webpage, and email handle for Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, and YouTube, which you are watching on this now. The paper that we use is Ultra Premium Presentation Matte Paper. It allows us to really show Cathy's artwork really well. Cathy has made a separate video on the types of watercolor paper that she uses to print and why, and you can check that video out as well. So let's make this from scratch. In another video that we have about how to make your first fine art print, you've learned there on how to scan a print and save it. So we go to image size, and look at this document and look at the scanned watercolor, and you can see it's 10 by 8 inches and the resolution is 300. So I need to make a new 17 by 22 template because 17 by 22 is the size of the paper. So I go to File, New, and then I go to Inches, and then put in height 22, width 22, height 17, resolution 300, great. And now I have a blank canvas. I'm going to go to the sides and use these rulers right here to start mapping out the how I want to lay out the prints. So I do the first ruler is 10 inches because that's how long the print's going to be. Second ruler is 8 inches for the height, and then another second ruler here to get the second print. So you can already start to see that we're making the guides. Then I pull another one to 20 because it'll be 8 by 10 prints, and then now I have the whole template done. I go back to the elephant print copy, Control A to copy all of it, Control C to copy it. Go back to my template and Control V. And then I have my first layer there. And I use the moving tool here to drop the print here, exactly where I want it. And then now I copy and paste 3 more times, and you can see I have 4 layers now, and I place each one where I want to place it. Whoops. Layer 3. And the last layer. And there you go. You have your template. It wasn't so difficult, right? And then if you want to make your business cards, you can put it here. Another thing I want to get into is the print settings. So when we're ready to print, File, Print. Then I need to pick my printer, Epson SC P800. Layout is either portrait or landscape, so we have it in landscape. I always pick color handling. Photoshop manages colors. I use my printer profile, which you can download from the Epson site. I use the Watercolor P800 hot press bright setting, even though it's ultra premium presentation matte. It just, after calibrating, we found that works out the best. Black point compensation, always check that. Center that, scale 100. Jumping into print settings, we always picked USC 17x22 borderless retained size. So we pick that setting right there. And then when we go to print settings here, then we go to the sheet feeder because Epson archival matte or ultra premium presentation matte allows you to use the sheet feeder. We use matte paper, and then we pick the Epson archival matte. Depending on what paper you use, and just go pick to your heart's delight, but you may not be able to use the sheet feeder. Print quality, super fine, 1440 or super photo. I can't really tell the difference, to be honest, so I always use super fine, 1440. And then I put save, and then I press print, and then it starts printing out. So that's how we set up and print 4 prints on one piece of paper for 8x10. Now I'm going to show you a similar template that we have for our 11x14 prints, which are slightly larger. So this is the Oh My Gosh raccoon that Cathy's made in the past. And I can remove this one. And if you can see, this template is a little bit different because these prints are 11x14. So again, with 17 inches, this print 14 inches in height. So then it takes up about, and we have 2 inches for the business cards. The way we set this up is business cards on the left, 2 inches, print is 14 inches, but that takes us to 16 inches. So I need another ruler guide over here to remind me that I have this extra inch of white space here that we won't be able to use. Luckily, on this direction, we will have no white space whatsoever because in width, these 2 prints are 11 inches and the entire length of this paper is 22 inches. So 11 plus 11 equals 22 and you have no extra space. So usually if I want to print a bunch of raccoon prints, then I set up this template right here and we always save our template so I can just open and print. And then I'll file print. Again, all the settings inside, and I'll do like something like 20 copies, and that'll make me like 40 prints. So I can just do it and not forget about it. Again, choose Photoshop manages colors. Printer profile, again, we use hot press bright. We are using a printer profile for paper that is hot press bright, but we're actually printing on different paper that's ultra premium presentation matte. But Cathy's done a lot of testing and she found that this combination makes her watercolor paintings show up the best for the prints that we make in-house. But Cathy, do you want to add anything to that?
No, I think you hit the nail on the head. My goal is for the print to reproduce color as close to the original as possible. So when I did a side-by-side comparison, the hot press bright setting matches the original much better than if I were to use the ultra premium matte paper setting, which is the paper I'm using. So it's counterintuitive, but for us, it's worked really well, and it's consistently working out well for the last few years.
You can go check out some of our other videos where Cathy goes on a deep dive of using different types of paper to print her watercolor paintings. And you can see that we've done a lot of experimentation over the years. You will be going on your own journey depending on what printer you have. So just making a call out. But if the reward at the end of the rainbow is that you're able to make your own prints in-house. So now that we got these templates out of the way and started printing, then I wanted to get into what we do after you print them out. A sped up video of our Epson printer printing out the print. The elephant family is being printed out. Watching printing on actual speed is like literally watching paint dry on paper. So I just had to speed it up. Boop. So I'm going to do some close-ups, and you're going to be able to see the quality looks. Can't really see any digitizations. Almost looks like a watercolor painting on paper without any of the buckling from the water. And then wanted to highlight the business cards as well, which are literally mini prints. So after I print out these pages, you can see me cutting the 11 by 14 prints. And I'm cutting it on a paper trimmer. And I also have a separate video on reviewing this paper trimmer. It's a Rototrim. It's great. Trick here is that I actually take two pieces of the print paper and stack them on top of each other and cut it so I can cut twice as many in the same amount of time. I have to make marks on the paper just because the ruler on the Rototrim is limited, so I have to make sure I know where to cut it. So I cut out the business cards first, I cut out the extra inch, and then I cut out the other side. And then now I have a whole stack of prints. After I take all the strips of the business cards, again, stack two pages at once and then stack them all next to each other like this and start cutting the business cards. I think there's about 4 business cards, 4 inches each, 16 inches total. And I stack them up, line them up, and start cutting them all at once. So I have a bunch of business cards ready to go in case we do a fair or give them out when we meet people. Last thing I have to do is package the prints. So I pre-package a bunch of cellophane and backboards, and then I stack the prints over to the right side. And so I can just insert them one at a time, doing the same movement over and over again, instead of having to package each one individually and sealing each one individually. Again, it's about efficiency and batching together different movements. Last, I have to pull off the strip on the back so I can close them. There's a glue, and I kind of stagger all the prints, and then I pull off all the tabs all at once. And then we're pretty much done. Hopefully that made sense. I had those hyperlapse videos. I wanted to show you how we went through it without the boredom of actually having to watch me actually do all that work. But usually I put on a podcast, I zone out, and I try to knock out 20, 40, 60, 100 prints all at once. And it's really fun and rewarding in its own way, just because you feel like you finished something. A lot of times during our day job, I'm sitting at a computer in front of my Microsoft Outlook, sending emails to the ether or looking at Excel sheets or PowerPoint presentations, it's really nice to work with your hands and actually feel like you got something done.
So you don't get much done at your day job, right? That's what you're saying?
No.
You're being the most productive right now.
Yeah, it's
the entire day.
Yeah, it's a lot of Zoom calls and meetings and trying to be present. So here you have to be present because you have no choice but to work on these prints. Also, as your business grows and you decide that you want to hire extra help, this is the first work that you can kind of offload. It is manual and it's easy to teach someone how to do this. So that's how our entire workflow of how we make prints in bulk. Let us know what you think. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to write it down. It was great to share this with you. If you want to support us, please subscribe to our channel and we will produce content every other week. Thank you.